ever. Students on the path of meditation, good evening, using Bali time. Thank you for being patient, waiting for us. Deeper thank you for thousands of friends who continuously join our guided meditation from yesterday. Yesterday evening, in Facebook only, there were more than 5,000 spiritual friends join our discussions about dispelling the inner darkness. So far, we do not monitor the number of friends in YouTube and Twitter, Instagram. Only Facebook, only it was more than 5,000 spiritual friends. Thank you for all your seriousness in learning the light that flowing through me. In this evening, again, we are going to discuss the part 2 of dispelling the inner darkness. Part 2. Yesterday we discussed about the theoretical side. This evening we are going to discuss about the practical side. Both the theoretical practical side hopefully will equip you on the long journey of soul development. By the time we are waiting to thousands of friends who are in the process of joining together with us, let me refresh your memory about the previous session, just to make sure that the light wicks flowing through me dispel some of your inner darkness. One of the beautiful challenge in our cycle of time is living together with family at home, especially to those friends who used to travel somewhere else every week or used to work in the office every day, every week, and every month. Since the cycle of the time asks you to stay at home, work at home, it will be difficult enough if you keep staying at home. That is very challenging to most of you who stay at home very seldom. But no worry, there is always the positive sides of anything that happen in life. No worry. Don't look at this cycle of time as a threat. Look at as an opportunity to grow. The way I look at the problem of staying at home is an opportunity to do inner pilgrimage. The universal language is the inner pilgrimage, but the terminology that we used to use in spiritual family of compassion is meditation. The blessing sides of staying at home, we have much more time allocating to meditate. You know, meditation is the very soft way to heal ourselves. To be frank to all of you, we all being wounded in the past, especially in the childhood. We all were wounded, especially by the immature parents, to those friends who keep bullying us at school, ex-boy and girl friends who left us behind. We all were wounded in the past. As soon as we grow little bit older, especially after passing the age of 40, it is the cycle of the time to heal the body, mind, and spirit back. And one of the beautiful approach that available to all of us is meditation. My suggestion then, use the abundance of time that you have in this cycle of time to meditate. Meditation is one of the approach which is accepted by all religion. I never heard that certain religion reject the notions of meditation. No, I never heard it. All religion, as far as I know, recommend you to meditate. To meditate. It is not coincidence. The spelling of meditation is very close to medication, because it is true, meditation is a kind of medication. There are some of explanation how meditation can heal body, mind, and spirit. First of all, it will stop the energy drain that come out from the mind. The second reason, meditation will strengthen your immune system. It has been widely researched everywhere. It can improve your immune system. Thirdly, it has been widely researched by many neuroscientists. Meditation also heals the brain. Some of you who get stress, depression, or even trauma, you know already, it will hurt your brain. And meditation is the opposite. Meditation will heal your brain. Since brain is the master organ, as soon as you heal the brain, you also heal another components of your body. That is the logic why I keep sharing to you the guided meditation. Meditation is a kind of medication. It does not only heal the mind, it also heals body, mind, and spirit. Like what I said yesterday evening, the intersection point between body, mind, and spirit is the biochemical reactions of the brain. Let me repeat the explanation again, because this is very important. If you have negative thinking, stress, the biochemical reactions of the brain will release adrenaline and cortisol. It will not only poison your body, it will also poison your mind and spirit. Some of you whose spiritual eyes are widely open know, in the moment when the brain releases a lot of adrenaline, your spirit invite the coming of the dark spirit. It is dangerous. I myself experienced it personally. It is true. For that reason, the beautiful side of meditation, it helps the brain release the growth hormone like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. It does not only heal the body, but also heal the mind and spirit. Some of you who learn human energy know as soon as the quality of your meditation go deeper and deeper, you come to the stage of peace. No virus can touch you. Excuse me. No virus can touch you if you come to the vibrations of peace, because the vibrations of virus is lower than 100. The vibrations of peace is 1000. For the public beginner, maybe it is too high to come to the stage of peace. So that's why I keep suggesting to some of close students, it is enough if you grow into the level of love, because the vibrations of love is 550. It is also far higher than the vibrations of virus, which is lower than 100. Now 24 minutes after 6, it is time to spend at least 5 until 10 minutes to meditate, just to make your mind and heart clear and clean. The weather outside can be cloudful, but the mind and the heart inside, we can make it cloudless, especially by deeply meditate. As soon as your mind and your heart cloudless, it is easier to the light which is flowing through me, dispel some part of your inner darkness. Now, before we discuss about dispelling the inner darkness part 2, let's meditate together around 5 minutes until 10 minutes. First of all, remember, cross your leg. Secondly, make your back and head straight, but relax. Thirdly, your wings, make it as natural as possible. No need to be open, no need to be closed. The positions of your hand, it's totally up to you. If your religion recommend you to position your hand in certain position, feel free. You may follow the positions of my hands if you like it. Open your eyes a little bit. The rest, you simply follow my guidance. My gurus, wherever you are, the living guru, the holy scripture guru, the symbolical guru, the secret guru, please let me guide thousands of people doing meditation. You are the source of my light. Kindly allow me to be your humble servant. Now we are going to meditate. Some friends who drive the car, no, please do not watch guided meditation by the time you drive car or ride motorcycle. It is dangerous. It can make you sleepy. Now we are going to meditate. The inner remote. The practical approach of resting meditation, the practical approach of resting the mind is by filling the gap between two breaths, between in-breath and out-breath, between out-breath and in-breath. There is a gap. No need to prolong the breath, no need to shorten the breath, no need to hold the breath. Simply feel the gap between two breaths. That is exactly what I mean by resting the mind. Like space, which giving space to countless possibilities. If you rest the mind at the gap between two breaths, you open countless possibility of healing and peace to yourself. Rest the mind at the gap between two breaths. Some of you who learn quantum physics know your universe manifesting into human body, meaning you are both darkness and light. You are both sadness and happiness. You are both sorrow and joy. For that reason, rest the mind at the gap between two breaths. No need to be greedy to happiness, no need to hate sadness. Simply rest the mind at the gap between two breaths. Remember, beautiful soul, the three stairs to the inner heaven. The three stairs to the inner heaven, which is accept, flow, smile. That is the 3 stairs into inner heaven. Keep growing, beautiful soul. Keep growing until you understand personally that both samsara and nirvana are no longer two. Both samsara and nirvana are two sides of the same coin. Mind can jump into 1,000 directions without any guilty feeling. Simply bring the mind back to the gap between two breaths. Since this is very important, let me repeat the message once again. Like space, which giving space to countless possibilities, if you continuously rest the mind at the gap between two breaths, you give space to countless possibility of healing and peace. As the natural natures of water which is wet, the natural natures of flower which is beautiful, the natural natures of peaceful mind is full of love. For that reason, as soon as you open your eyes, whisper deep into your soul the beautiful mantra Aham Prema 3 times, meaning I am love who is here to share love. Aham Prema, Aham Prema, Aham Prema. I am love who is here to share love. Thank you, beautiful friends, beautiful heart, beautiful soul. Thank you. Now we are going to discuss Dispelling the Inner Darkness, Part 2. Before going into the Part 2, let me refresh your memory about Part 1 yesterday. Refresh just in a short refreshment. The thesis of my presentation about dispelling the inner darkness is very simple but deep. The best way to protect yourself from the outer darkness is by understanding the inner darkness. Let me repeat once again. The best way to protect yourself from the outer darkness is by deeply understand the inner darkness. Using the terminology of Sun Tzu from the ancient China, those who know themselves also know their enemies. Those who know the self and the enemy will certainly win in all the battle. That's a beautiful quotation. For that reason, yesterday evening, we shared to you the deeper understanding about our inner darkness. Remember my yesterday's story about the king whose feet wounded by a thorn and then ordering the minister to cover all the street using the skin of animals. As soon as the king peaceful and calm enough, the minister whispered, "My lord king, please do not cover all the street using the skin of animal. Please cover your feet using the shoes." The symbol is, if you blame government, if you blame WHO, if you blame coronavirus, it is similar to the king who want to cover all the street using the skin of animal. What I'm suggesting to you, learn to cover your mind using the shoes of mindfulness. So that's why the most beautiful candle that I'm suggesting to you this evening to dispel the inner darkness is the beautiful candle of mindfulness. I prefer the terminology of mindfulness rather than awareness, because in the middle of mindfulness there is the word full. Full meaning whole. As I keep sharing to all of you, I am the students of the famous physicist David Bohm, who mentioning explicitly the word health come from the word whole. If you want to heal your life, learn to train yourself holistically. That's is the most important reason why I prefer the word mindfulness rather than awareness, because there is full and whole there. Now, let me refresh your memory about 7 inner darkness that I explained to you yesterday. Number 1, remember, human brain love pattern and repentance. As soon as life grow not in line with the pattern and repentance, suddenly bad mood appear. If you do not bring candle of mindfulness to the inner darkness of bad mood, it can grow into dangerous anger. Using yesterday evening example, suppose that you have the pattern every morning like this. You go to the office earlier than most people because you want to avoid traffic jam. Few minutes before you arrive at the office, you used to enjoy your breakfast in a certain coffee shop near the office. You park the car in front of the door of coffee shop. You usually sit in the certain corner of coffee shop, drinking your coffee milk and certain cake that you usually consume every morning as part of your breakfast. But in one morning, as soon as you are ready to park your car, at the front of the door, there is another car who parked already there. The pattern is no longer the same. When you order the coffee milk that you used to drink every morning, it is out of stock. As soon as the pattern of life is no longer in line with the usual pattern, bad mood appear. That is what I mean by inner darkness. My suggestion then, as soon as bad mood appear, bring the beautiful candle of mindfulness. That is the characteristic of the brain. As soon as the pattern and the pattern of life is no longer the same, as you experience from one morning to another morning, bad mood appear. The bad mood will not grow into dangerous anger if you bring beautiful candle of mindfulness. That is the first story. Brain love the pattern. As soon as life does not grow in line with the pattern, bad mood appear. In order to avoid bad mood grow into dangerous anger, remember to bring the beautiful candle of mindfulness. The second inner darkness that I explained yesterday is thinking feeling loop. Suppose one day you have time alone. Suddenly you think about your divorced parent, thinking negatively about your parent. And negative thinking will produce negative feeling. And that negative feeling will loop the negative thinking. The combination between negative thinking and negative feeling, again, it will produce another bad mood. If you do not bring the beautiful candle of mindfulness, the bad mood can grow into dangerous anger. So that's why it is understandable all religion without exception prohibit us from negative thinking, because as soon as you have negative thinking without candle of mindfulness, negative thinking will give birth to negative feeling. Negative feeling produce loop, strengthen the negative thinking. As a result, it can grow into dangerous anger. Remember, as soon as bad mood appear because of thinking feeling loop, remember to bring the beautiful candle of mindfulness. Number 3, yesterday evening I explained to you, if we look at the brain using microscope, there is neurological circuit inside our brain, countless, related with person, related with event, related with the words that we spoke in the past. Usually they appear in the form of memory. It can be bad or good memory. For example, some of you who spend your teenagers having dating time on the beach, as soon as you see the picture of the beach, you will remember your dating time with your husband or wife. Some of you who like play golf in the young age, as soon as you see the picture of green grass, you will remember your beautiful time playing in golf course. Some of you who have trauma in relation with sexual harassment, you will get sick if you watch a video about the porn. That is what I mean by neurological circuit. One of the beautiful way, don't entertain those bad memory, especially. If you think deep about the bad memory, it means you entertain the neurological circuit. If you speak badly about the people who harm you in the past, you entertain the neurological circuit. Don't entertain. What I do to myself is very simple. Simply say hello. Hello. Neurological circuit. I know you are there, but now you are no longer grip me. Disappear. The bad memory that comes from neurological circuit does not necessarily produce any bad mood. It does not necessarily produce any dangerous anger. I simply said to those bad memory that come from the past, hello, neurological circuit. I know you are there, but now you are no longer grip me. That is what I mean by beautiful candle of mindfulness. Number 4, remember my yesterday evening explanations about research conducted by a well-known psychologist from Russia. His name is Pavlov. Around 1940, Pavlov gave food to the dog, then ringing the bell. thank long, giving food to the dog and ringing the bell, thank long, many times. And one day, Pavlov did not give any food to the dog, but ringing the bell. Saliva appeared from the mouth of the dog. In the terminology of psychology and also deep spirituality, it is called as conditioning. All those bad qualities that we have in life, it is the result of long conditioning. Anger, the reason why we have dangerous anger. We are conditioned by our environment in childhood, especially from the parent. Anger, actually, it is only one of the protecting energy that we have inside. But it grows into dangerous negative power because we are conditioned in the past by the parent, by the teacher, by our friend. It is conditioned. Yesterday, I'm happy after presentation we discussed with small family of compassion here, Pak Irfi, Anton, Pak Teja. Smoking. It is also the result of smoking. I myself also smoke in young age. Smoke. I remember the reason why I smoke in young age. I keep hearing from my close friend, the man who do not smoke is not a true man. That sentence conditioned my mind. Even though I did not enjoy any smoke, I joined my friend's smoke because it was conditioned by the environment. Be careful. Those negative qualities like anger and smoking, it is a long process conditioning from the past. Jiddu Krishnamurti, one of the famous spiritual teachers in 1980, loved to deeply analyze this long process of conditioning. But the best medicines, according to me, the beautiful candle of mindfulness. Look at the children. They love chewing the candle, chewing gum especially. It is the product of conditioning. Remember, the most beautiful candle of mindfulness. Number 5, no matter how deep you meditate, we all have inner paradox and contradiction. We do not want to be angry, but we are angry. We do not want any bad mood, but we all have bad mood. We all want to be patient, but not all of us can be patient. That is paradox and contradiction. The candle of mindfulness is very simple. Remember my yesterday evening message. The most important measurement of enlightenment is how comfortable you are with paradox and contradiction. Learn and train yourself from the beginning. Be comfortable with paradox and contradiction, especially because the materials of our body come from contradicting material. There is water, there is fire here. There is hard part, there is fluid part, confronting. That is the parent why we have a lot of paradox and contradiction inside. No worry, we all have paradox and contradiction. As soon as those paradox and contradiction appear, bring the beautiful candle of mindfulness. Number 6, inner gap. Inner gap. We all have inner gap between the ideal and reality. All. Even the Buddha have inner gap. Maybe our gap is far wider than the inner gap of the Buddha, the gap between the ideal and the reality. If you do not bring the candle of mindfulness to the inner gap, it will produce guilty feeling, I have been reading Holy Scripture for years. Ideally speaking, that is the idea. I have no anger. But why I still angry to my son. That's the gap, you know. Ideally, you have no angry because you read Holy Scripture for the years. But in reality, you are still angry to your son. There is the gap. No need. No need to blame yourself using guilty feeling. No need. The most important thing is bridging the ideal and reality using one word. Practice, practice, and practice. Remember my yesterday explanation? The intersection point between body, mind, spirit is the biochemical reactions of the brain. If you always bring the beautiful candle of mindfulness to the inner darkness, first of all, there will be less energy draining from the mind. You can heal not only your body but also your mind and spirit. Let me repeat to all of you because this is very important. If you have negative mind, the brain will produce the dangerous hormone like cortisol and adrenaline. Adrenaline and cortisol will not only poison the body but also poison the mind and spirit. On the contrary, if you have peaceful mind, the brain will release the growth hormone like oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. It will heal not only the body but also the mind and the spirit. Now we are entering dispelling the inner darkness of part 2, which is practice. In the level of practice, I practice it to myself also. Knowing one theory but we put into practice bring more light rather than knowing millions of theory but we do not put it into practice. Again, knowing one theory but we put into practice, bringing more light to the inner darkness rather than knowing millions of theory but we do not put it into practice. So that's why this evening I am going to share to you how I practice for the last 20 years. Practice. Some of my close friends, both in Bali and Jakarta, I have a very limited close friend, keep sharing to me, one of your positive quality is you keep practicing what you speak. They are true. Even though I am not perfect, of course I am not perfect, but I keep trying to practice what I preach. Let me begin with the first practice, which influenced my life deeply. In the year of 2002, 19 years ago, a Bali terrorist bombing happened. At that time, October 12, 2002. At that time, I had no friend, I had no relatives who died in Kute at that time. No friends, no relative. Strangely, as soon as Bali terrorist bombing happened in the year 2002, I keep crying for more than 2 weeks. I could not go to the office for 2 weeks. The only thing that I do in my home, just keep crying, keep crying. I do not understand. At that time, no connection between me and Bali terrorist bombing. I do not know about the leader of Bali at that time. I come to Bali at that time very, very seldom, sometimes even once in a year. I know nothing about terrorism also, know nothing. But I cry 2 weeks because of the crying that I cannot explain at that time. I keep asking my soul, what happened? What happened? That is the beginning of my journey returning back to Bali. In the first year, I teach from one prisoner to another prisoner, uh, from one prison to another prison in Bali, north, south, east, west. Outside, I appear to be teaching to the people, but actually I want to learn what happened in Bali. Terrorist bombing happened here and make me cry. From 1 year, another year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I traveling to one prison to another prison. One secret is open, second secret. The key word is don't try to open all the secret of soul by reading and learning only. Try to open the secret by practicing. What I did in the year of 2002, 2003, 2004 until 2009, I just keep practicing. Coming to one prison to another prison in Bali. People think that I teach to them. Actually, no, I learn. Learning through practicing. From that time, a lot of secret, not only secret about Bali Island, secret about my soul calling also open. Remember, the key is not memorizing, the key is not thinking, but practicing. That is the first part about practice, how to bridge between the ideal and reality. Bali terrorist bombing that happened in 2002. At the same time, I teach from one prison to another prison. I keep praying and meditating from one temple to another temple in Bali. Strangely, it's quite strange. I keep praying to the to the higher realm, gods, goddess. I keep praying. All the beginners are like that. Whenever they meditate and pray, they communicate to the higher realm like God, goddess, gods. I did the same thing also. Meditate, praying, keep talking to the higher realm. Strangely, what appear very often is not the higher realm, but the lower realm. It was very strange. Here in ashram, I saw very often big snake but short. They try to kiss my feet. Of course, I jump. In the other day, I saw snake, but the head is chicken. In another evening, snake flying. In one of sacred temple in Bali, as soon as I'm ready to meditate, thousands of spiders climbing my whole body. I thought at that time I will die because my body full of spider. They did not bite me. After spending long enough time, why those lower realm appear in front of me? Some of them like snake and spider even touch my body. The spider even make my body full of spider from head until feet. I keep contemplating, what happened? I do not communicate to you. I communicate to the higher realm. But strangely, the realm that appear in front of me is the lower scary realm. After years of meditating and praying, I know those lower realms need our prayer. So that's why my praying every day, I never pray to asking for something to myself. I keep asking medicines to those who suffer with illness. I keep asking food for those who are hungry. I keep asking home for those who are homeless. Asking for blessing to those who keep asking for blessing. I keep asking for peace and enlightenment to those who want to attain peace and enlightenment. The inspiration comes from seeing the lower realm, the lower scary realm very often. When I spend years meditating alone in the forest, In one morning, as soon as I go, still very dark outside, around 4 o'clock in the morning. I ride my own motorcycle. As soon as I come to my meditation place in the forest, completely alone. Suddenly, there is a lady, long hair, but the feet does not touch any ground. It was very scary. But since I strongly believe I have no bad intention to anyone, I just pass through that lady with long hair. The feet does not touch any ground, and stop and waiting for her. In the movie, we know already those kind of lady, they used to drink the blood. I was ready to donate my blood to that lady, but strangely it disappeared. I have been contemplating long time enough. Why those lower scary beings keep appearing to me? They need my prayers. You know how the secret is open. Practice, practice, practice. Less thinking but more acting. Less reading but more serving. So that's why in spiritual family of compassion we have 3 centers of service. First of all, center of service for suicide prevention. Secondly, center of service for divorce prevention. Thirdly, center of service to take good care of the children with special needs. The inspiration comes from seeing the lower scary realms quite often in the past. Nowadays, sometimes they appear, but not as often as in the past. Last week, I still remember when Pak Kade Optimist, one of our close friend in spiritual family of compassion, cleaning the pond in my holy room. I talked to Pak Kade. Suddenly, long snake appear. Hey, Pak Kade, look at that! The snake appear. Most of the snake are afraid and fear and running away from us. But the snake last week come and approach Pak Kade and me. Bow. Look at that is dragon. And those lower scary realm keep whispering to me, please pray to all of us. Pray for all of us. Because it is impossible to human being to be happy if the lower being are unhappy. You know how the secret will open. Practice, practice. I did not read it in Holy Scripture. I have been reading books, maybe 1,000 titles. Especially when I spend my beautiful time in Lancaster, northern part of England. I never read it in Holy Scripture or the books. But the secrets are open through one word. Practice, practice, practice. Another practice. When I was childhood, I was still around 10, 9 or 8 years old. I keep hear the message like this. Prama, remember, there is spiritual secret behind the Balinese song that life is like sweeping the floor. I heard that message very often when I was still 10 or 9 or 8 years old. I do not understand. There is spiritual secret which is open behind the Balinese song, which mentioning life is like sweeping the floor. As soon as I retire, I sweep the floor here myself. Sweeping the floor in my room, sweeping the garden. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Now it is more than 8 years. It is true. There are many spiritual secrets are opened by personally sweeping the floor. First of all, now I open the secret to all of you. Cleaning the mind and heart is like cleaning the floor. Even though we clean the floor now, within few minutes, another dirt and dust come. The same thing happened to our mind and heart. You can meditate 24 hours a day, but the dirts of negative thinking come. The ways of bad memory come. Forget the idea that the mind and heart will be clean all the time. Forget it. But focus on keep cleaning the floor of the mind and heart all the time. Forget the idea that the mind and heart will clean forever. Forget it. There is no such thing as clean and permanently clean mind and heart. Focus on the cleaning. That is the secret. Another secret, one morning I clean the garden. In the evening, dry leaf fall again. At the beginning, I complain. The dry leaf, you are very naughty. Because of you, I am tired cleaning the garden at the beginning. But one day, the dry leaf whispered to me, the karmic calling of dry leaf is falling. Your karmic calling is sweeping. Simply focus doing your own karma. Forget about the good and bad. Another secret. How the secret is open. Practice. Practice and practice. Another practice that I want to share to you this evening. Family. I understand personally why in the long past, the people who seriously follow the spiritual path, they are prohibited to have family. They are prohibited to get married. Because mixing between spirituality and family life, it is very, very difficult. But I myself personally experienced mixing spiritual life and family life is very, very difficult. But the Zen people is true in this case. Small clay makes small Buddha. Big clay makes big Buddha. When the obstacle is small, you will get small enlightenment. But when the obstacle is huge, you will get huge enlightenment. Managing my wife, managing my 3 children, now I have 5 grandsons. Sometimes it is very difficult. But if one of my child even make me experiencing what the famous Carl Jung called as the dark nights of the soul, I experienced myself more than 10 years. The menu of breakfast is suffering. The menu of the lunch is suffering. The menu of the dinner suffering. Suffering in the morning, suffering at the day, suffering in the evening, suffering at the night. Because of taking good care of my family. But the beautiful story, after passing through all the dark nights of the soul, Carl Jung is true. As soon as you successfully passing through the dark night of the soul, there is beautiful light arise within. How to open that secret? Practice, practice, practice. So that's why my close friend, both in Jakarta and Bali, they are true. Gede Brahma, one of your unique characteristic in comparison with another spiritual teacher, you keep trying to practice what you preach. Yesterday, I told you to dispel the inner darkness. One beautiful idea, beautiful candle of mindfulness. This evening, I give you another candle. Practice, practice. The candle is much brighter than any kind of inner candle. Practice, practice, practice. In one evening when I sweep outside the ashram, one of the villagers asked me an innocent question. Pak Gede, do you still have any stress? I said, of course, everyone have their own stress. But the stress is no longer grip me. I simply smile to the stress. The second question, Pak Gede Prama, do you still have any angry? Of course, everyone have their own angry. Angry is a kind of energy which protect us inside. We all have it. But the frequency of anger is no longer as bad as in the past. The frequency getting lower, lower, lower. How to open the secret practice. That is the beautiful message of this evening. Hopefully it will inspire all of you everywhere you are. Since this message is safe in the internet, YouTube, Facebook, hopefully it will be here on earth for countless time, bringing beautiful light to countless darkness. Thank you very much, beautiful soul, beautiful heart, beautiful friend, wherever you are. Thank you very much. Hopefully the light that flowing through me will dispel some part of your inner darkness. Thank you very much. See you next month, because there is a schedule of social media live every month. I cannot do live every day like the people in the West, because the cultural challenge in the Eastern society is different. Thank you. Good evening. Sabesata Bhavantu Sukhitata. May all beings are happy. Shanti, Shanti, and Shanti. Peace in the lower, peace in the middle, peace in the upper realm. Tepuk tangan, Anton.